Hey everybody, I'm back. Just wanted to post another video. I mentioned it in my first video, but I watched an anime, I think it was about a week ago or so, called Noir. It was done around 2000, I believe. It's part of a kind of trifecta of anime series called Girls with Guns. And that includes Noir, Madlax, and Les Cruces, I think. Um, Again, that's something I think I looked up, via Wikipedia or something like that. If you want to investigate it further, the only one of those three I've watched was Noir, obviously. If you're not familiar with Noir, it's kind of a I don't know, it's like a thriller, but it's also a mystery. I think it is like on the box, it's categories as drama, thriller, and mystery. So I guess it's got all three elements into it. For me, it was almost more of a mystery idea, but obviously noir, which is black and French, implies there's kind of a dark theme to it. There is very dark elements to it. It's older style anime. Since it was done in 2000, animation looks a little bit older. It's not as bright and colorful, I think, as you get as digital animation. If you want to kind of put it in a place time-wise on how the animation looks, it's probably more in line with Cowboy Bebop on the way that kind of looks. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing the two because you can't really compare the two. But when it comes to how it looks, animation-wise, the coloring, the line work, things like that, that's very similar. Because Cowboy Bebop was done in 1999, I believe. So it's around the same time period. But anyway, if you're not familiar with the plot, it's kind of there's these two girls. They kind of meet up. One of them was basically an assassin for hire. This other girl has all these skills, this Japanese girl, but she doesn't remember anything, which is a very typical Japanese motif, I've come to find out, is having amnesia. But besides that, she's like a killing machine, but she doesn't know who the hell she is. And this other assassin for hire, Muriel, is lives in Paris, but she basically gets these jobs to go and kill people. Well, she comes along and runs into this girl, and they kind of team up and they go on these separate jobs together. But there's also this mystery involved, and that's kind of the overarching plot. Is there's kind of almost a secret organization that comes into play, and they run around and shoot people with pistols and just get into all these situations. And obviously they're working for these people who hire them. They're guns for hire. Overall, it's pretty good. I think it was 26 episodes long, so your typical length when it comes to anime. Excuse me. Again, it's there isn't much, there is some drama, obviously, but I think it deals more with the plot than anything else. It's the character development's there. You learn especially more about Muriel's past, and the big thing in this anime is it's all about the past. What happened early on in these two people's lives that dictates how they're being treated now and what's going on presently. And you kind of, the layers get peeled back. I mean, that's where the whole mystery idea comes in. They start kind of peeling back all these layers, and it's really nice to kind of do that. I mean, I appreciate a good mystery story. I'm not the hokey Agatha Christie mystery guy, but stuff of a darker idea. There's something else going on under the surface. I really like. They run into like another assassin character, who goes and kills people later too. And there's this kind of weird connection between all of them that you come to figure out means something else. Plot wise is pretty good. I liked it. Now I will say I'm a big guy on pacing, and if you can't tell from my first video, the beginning is really hard to get through. and I will warn you, you have to kind of work through it because it's really hard to sit through it because it seems so slow. But if you can manage that and get through it, you'll be okay. I promise. It won't hurt or anything like that. It's just you got to get through it. And I know there have been other complaints about the pacing of this anime. Now it is pretty. I don't know if it's widely known anime. For me, I'd never heard of it before. It's pretty. I think Mad Lax is probably the more popular of the three, the trifecta I talked about earlier. But this the Noir is pretty good. It has a very European feel to it, obviously, because most of it takes place in a European setting. I think you're in Japan for a brief amount in the first part, but for the most part, you're dealing with stuff in Europe, and that's where most of the action takes place. So it's kind of it's a different feel to it. That you have a European way of doing things, and I think it's kind of refreshing in anime since obviously culturally the Japanese do things certain ways compared to Europeans, but the Japanese do have affinity, I think, for European culture, and I think they really kind of hold it up in this anime. I will say that the ending again is, I would say, again, hopefully no spoilers. If you don't want to listen, just tune me out for however many seconds it takes, but let's say about 30 seconds, maybe not even that. Again, I'll try not to go into any details, but I will say, like other Japanese anime, it has a very kind of ambivalent ending, but it's pretty good. It builds up quite a bit, and there's a few twists and turns here and there that are, I would say, not super surprising, but they can kind of take you off guard. My one qualm with this anime, and I probably understand why they do it, is Japanese have this weird thing with violence. They don't mind necessarily the sexual connotations, but violence is a big kind of no-no. You don't want to show too much violence, or you got to show it like late at night. They're all like, we can't show any violence. So when they shoot people in this, they don't bleed. And that was kind of like the one little nitpicky thing in me that was like, why aren't they bleeding? But then again, I understand why they did it. It was probably meant for early teenagers. It was probably shown, not during the daytime, but early evening. I don't know how the Japanese, Bangumi schedules are set up, but, that's kind of, that was my one pet peeve. I was kind of like, I wish it was a little more graphic, but that may just appeal to my American sensibility of carnage and bloodshed and guns. But again, it was pretty good. I had a few qualms and I mentioned those, but I'd recommend again watching it. With all these animes I'm going to go over, I would say at least try to watch it. And if this is just a recommendation, you've never heard of it before, you can check it out. And if you can't get through it, then you can't get through it, and you don't want to watch it, don't have to. It's just something I watched recently, and it was pretty interesting. It was different, and if you want something a little different from your normal foray of Japanese anime, I would recommend it. So, anyway, I think that's it for this one. Again, I may post another one later on, but I'll talk to you guys later. Again, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, critiques, you want to talk about how bald I am, go and write in the comments. Let me know how things are going. But that's it for now, so I will talk to you guys later.